Welcome to Stay Tuned with Mikey and Chad. We're back, and we have no guest tonight because our guest bailed. Shout out to Mark Dykton. I'm just kidding. That was last night. He went to the Reds game, couldn't make it in time. It's all good, buddy. We'll get you on here soon. So, what's going on, buddy?
Not much. Getting prepped for a couple of tournaments this weekend. I got a couple fishing tournaments this weekend. I'm leaving out tomorrow morning, bright and early, heading up to Maxentucky, if anybody knows where that's at, up in northern Indiana, Culver area. Got a tournament there I'm going to practice for tomorrow. Got a tournament there on Saturday. Then Sunday I got the Indy Fishing League. Still have no idea where we're going. It's MLF format. Great series.
What does MLF mean?
Major League Fishing format. For my outdoorsmen guys, they'll know what that is. But it's just a newer style of fishing. It's a lot of fun. There's a live score tracker. Fish only have to be a minimum weight, and you can catch as many throughout the day. You have a marshal that hangs out on the boat with you. He weighs the fish and puts it in the score tracker. So anybody that would like to keep track of what's going on throughout the day can definitely do that on Sunday. They can follow it at indyleaguefishing.com. Just click on it where it says live score tracker. They can keep tabs on me all day long.
God, you're such a fucking redneck, man. I love you.
Hey, I do what I do.
So anyways, all right, Chad's fishing this weekend. We're going to talk.
Before we get going.
Go ahead, man.
I want to shout out Mikey Chisholm and Chisholm Lumber. They helped make Sunday possible for me. It's not a cheap series to fish. They definitely helped make it possible for me. And Kevin and Melissa Comfort, they also helped make this possible for me, and I can't do it, and I can't thank them enough. You know, they truly are helping make my dreams come true. So thank you guys very much.
What was the name of the lumber company?
Chisholm Lumber and Millbrook.
All right. We need a sponsor, so shout out to them.
Yep.
All right, man. So we're getting in the thick of things with NFL preseason. We're getting deep. We're starting to kind of see where things are going, see what our players are looking like this year. Go back to last week against Carolina. What did you think about that game? Did you watch it?
I did. I watched the majority of it. I had some family things I had to make sure that I was a part of, but I did get to watch a lot of it. I'll tell you what stands out to me the most is Jacob Eason. He really showed glimpses of what people thought he was coming out of high school, what he did in college, and what he could really do in the professional league. You know, he showed glimpses of being a really, really good quarterback.
Yeah, my only thing with him is, man, he's got great arm strength. He's got great mobility, man. But that motherfucker holds onto the ball too goddamn long.
But the good thing is, though, is you can't teach the ability that he has.
Yeah,
you can teach getting the ball out early. You know, you can teach getting rid of that damn football. But he made some incredible throws. You know, he made that throw to Paris Campbell. Obviously, everybody's been talking about that throw. Right. You know, it was just on a dime. It was perfect. But my biggest surprise and by far my favorite player coming out of camp is Strong.
Yeah, I mean he's probably the fan favorite right now. The dude, Calvin Johnson's size. I'm not going to compare him to him yet in terms of ability because we haven't seen it yet on a big stage. Man, this dude's going to be a good receiver for the next few years. I mean, every day on Twitter I see highlights of Strong. It's just the dude's blowing up, and I'm glad that nobody else in the NFL gives a shit right now because he could be that secret weapon that we need. Because honestly, before training camp started, we were like, who the fuck are going to be our receivers this year? Because we looked really shallow on the receiver depth chart. But as of right now, our receivers are looking pretty solid. I mean, we got Paris Campbell back finally.
He looks healthy.
Yeah.
And he looks the part finally. He really looks the part of what we were drafting when we drafted him a couple years ago.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that speed that everyone was talking about, and he's looking solid. Obviously, Pittman's doing his thing. T.Y. I haven't seen much of, man. I mean, I know he's getting up there in years, but I I haven't seen much of him in the preseason or the camp at all.
No, and he's kind of been that unsung player that nobody's really talking about right now. I don't know if maybe he's working through an injury, or if they're holding reps back on him to keep him healthy, or what's going on with him. You got to hope that it's not an injury thing. It's just he is, like you said, he's getting up there in age. He's one of those guys that you got to keep healthy. He's a speed receiver. He's not going to be anything other than a speed receiver.
And I mean, it could be a good thing for us, because if nobody's talking about him, nobody's going to be covering him. He's not going to be double covered. He could be that safety valve.
Yep.
That we are going to probably desperately need for the first few weeks, because going to the quarterback situation, I don't know what the hell is going on. I mean, Ellinger looked good last week too.
Sure.
I mean, he doesn't have the arm strength. Obviously, everyone knows that Eason has, but he's got.
But there's not a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL period that have that kind of arm strength.
Yeah, I mean, he's just got the. He's got the quarterback. He's got the intangibles that aren't going to show up on the stat sheet. But I mean, I like both of them. And I don't know where Wentz is going to be come week 1, 2, 3. I mean, they're talking about he could possibly be there week 1. I don't know. I mean, it's so. We've been talking about this for weeks. And is he going to be there week 1? Maybe. Then we don't have to worry about Easton or Ellinger. But also, Wentz is like a paper bag. He can go down week 2 easily and be out for the year. I
want to keep Wentz out for the first 2 weeks. Maybe that's just me because I'm such a Colts fan. I want to see what Eason can do. I really think that he's going to win the starting job over Ellinger. Not that I don't think Ellinger's going to be a great quarterback. He has all the intangibles, like you said, to be a very, very good backup quarterback. I don't think he'll ever be a starting quarterback just due to his arm strength. But as far as what we have right now with Ellinger and Eason, I think, is more apt to being a starting quarterback in the league. And I do want to see what he can do against the number 1 defenses in a real game setting, not preseason where they're holding back, a full game plan against him and what he's capable of doing.
So you don't think Ellinger is ever going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL?
I don't. I
really
no. I don't. I just don't see it.
I feel like he could be. I mean, I didn't see a whole lot of him on Sunday, but I feel like he's got that thing you can't really teach. You talked about arm strength, you talked about getting the ball out on time. I feel like he's got some things that you really can't teach. And he played at Texas. I mean,
sure,
that's not a school.
It's not a hokey school at any mean. Yeah, and I hope I'm wrong. I genuinely hope I'm wrong, because that gives us, a wealth of riches, in the quarterback position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see. I really hope Easton does well, because he's been on the team for a few years, and it's his time to step up. He's been, 3rd or 4th on the depth chart after Brissett and Phillip
Rivers.
Duh. And he was kind of watching. Now he's in the spotlight. And how do you think is he gonna step up and actually be? Is he gonna be okay in the spotlight? Do you think?
I mean, as a Colts fan, I want to say yes, but as a realist, it's a wait and see. I don't know where he's gonna go. He could either just blow it out of the stratosphere, or he could fold under the pressure. Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's gonna be an in between with him. I think he's the kind of guy that. Coming out of college, everybody said, he's got all the intangibles, but he's a little bit of a head case. But that's the same thing we got with Wentz. Well, Wentz is a little bit of a head case. And I'm rooting like hell for him to be great.
It totally is. Why was Doug Peterson at fucking Colts camp last week? That scared the shit out of me.
Maybe he was just coming to pat Carson on the ass and say, hey, buddy, you're going to be all right.
They didn't talk much, man. From what I hear from guys that I know that were at camp, apparently they didn't talk a whole lot. What the hell is he? He's wearing all Colts gear. What is going on? That kind of scares me, because we've all heard, we don't know exactly what happened in Philly, but apparently, everyone knows not everyone knows. Everyone assumes that the relationship between Peterson and Wentz was not great. So, what the hell is he doing in Indy? That's what scares me.
That's a scary thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because we don't know that relationship, and maybe the media and maybe the other people from different media outlets and sports outlets are diving in a little deeper than what it is. Maybe they actually have a pretty good relationship, but it was the upper management that was causing the rift between the two of them.
I mean, if Jalen Hurts comes here next week, I'm fucking killing myself.
If Jalen Hurts shows up here next week, I'm good with it. I'll take Jalen Hurts. Bring him in, buddy. Bring in Jalen Hurts. I'm good. He can be our starting quarterback.
he will send Carson to the insane asylum. I swear to God, dude. But I prefer Jalen over Carson.
Absolutely. I'm rooting like hell for Carson Wentz, but if you want to bring Jalen Hurts in somehow, by all means.
By all means.
Chris Ballard, make that happen if you can.
Speaking of quarterback controversies, man, Dalton is acting like that Bears job is his. Justin Fields ain't taking it away. This is his. And Fields, bye, Felicia.
Yeah, I think I think Andy Dalton is tooting his horn a little too much. He's a little too cocky.
He's getting a little too cocky, isn't he?
Because I think Justin Fields is probably the second best quarterback coming out of the draft this year. I truly believe that.
Who was the best?
Ready-made pro, in my opinion. Ready-made pro. Obviously, I'm gonna go.
You want to say Lawrence?
Yeah, I want to say Trevor Lawrence is the best ready-made prototype quarterback coming out of the draft.
Yeah.
But if you had to go after him, man, I got to give all the love in the world to Fields.
But also, they were saying Lawrence isn't the starting quarterback going into Week 1 either.
We all know that Urban Meyer's not going to tell anybody that. Hell, he didn't do that when he was at Ohio State. They had 7 quarterbacks on their roster that could play anywhere in the country and start.
That is true.
And that's the same. Gardner Minshew, he's
not.
He's something special.
Is he really going to be the starter Week 1?
There's no way Gardner Minshew starts Week 1, not with having Trevor Lawrence.
I don't know, man.
But I like Gardner Minshew. I like the swagger that he has. I like the way he carries himself.
You like the mustache?
Man, I do like the mustache. I do. I dig the mustache. I dig the cutoff jean shorts. Mm-hmm. He's kind of country like me, so I'm kind of into that.
You like the jorts? You like
absolutely. Yeah, he's country. He's country fella. Right. But ready-made quarterbacks, man, Trevor Lawrence is it.
Dude, Lawrence is gonna. I mean, that's why everyone's down on the Jags because we're obviously in the AFC South. We look at every team in the South. I'm just kind of worried about the Jags, man. Like we could easily split. They could be. I'm not saying they're going to go fucking. Where are we playing 17 games now? I'm not saying they're going to go 12-5, but they could give us a run for our money for that last play. It could be a hot take. Say I'm wrong. They could give us a run for our money for that one of those last playoff spots.
Oh, I agree. Because I unfortunately, I think Tennessee's probably going to take the AFC South this year. Yeah. If I'm just being completely honest with our listeners, they're going to probably take it. They are very strong depth wise from top to bottom. They got a really solid defense coming back. They upgraded their wide receiving core and getting Julio Jones.
And they still got Derrick Henry.
And they've got the absolute monster, Derrick Henry. That guy is a freak.
And we can't stop him. Actually, the Colts defense can't stop any fucking running back.
Well, I mean, but hopefully Bobby Okereke, Koma Toure, hopefully those guys, will make a difference. DeForest Buckner's probably the best run stopper we have on the defense right now. And they're going to double him. There's no question. They're going to double him up. They're going to put Derrick Henry in a one-on-one matchup against our linebackers and see what happens. And he could. He could absolutely eat them alive.
Here's a pro tip for all you fantasy football players. Anytime you're going up against the Colts defense, take whoever the fucking running back is that's on waivers. You're gonna win that week because we've never been. I would love to say that maybe this year we're different. We've got some new pieces.
In the last 10, 12 years, we've never been able to stop the run.
Maybe this year we'll stop them, but, man.
We've shown flashes, but we've never been able to be consistent.
Anytime you play the Colts defense, okay. And the funny thing is, the secondaries everyone talks about as having holes in it, but receivers never really go big against us. It's always the running backs.
I'll tell you who scares the hell out of me right now in our secondary. Rock Ya-Sin.
Yeah.
He has great ball skills, but he doesn't. He lacks the one-on-one coverage. He has the potential to give up that big play that's the game breaker type play.
Well, he does. I mean, like a lot of our guys do. I mean, you look at. I mean, we've got Xavier Rose,
and I still to this day think he's a very, very good corner in the league.
Oh, he totally is.
I think he's a top 5-6 corner in the league. That might be a little high.
I'd say maybe top 10.
Okay.
Back 3-4 years ago, I'd say yes, top 5.
And that's very fair.
Actually, I'd say top 2 or 3 back a few years ago.
Sure.
But, I mean, you know, we get them all either in their infancy or at the very end of their career. That's how we are.
Which it doesn't make no sense to me how
That's
we go.
That's funny. The funny thing is that's how the Colts are, and that's how the Pacers are.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
We just get them either in their infancy or right at the tail end of their career when they've already done everything they need to do.
There's very, very few exceptions.
Yeah.
You know, Peyton was an exception. Reggie was an exception. Hopefully Darius and
we've had the
Quentin Nelson are exceptions.
We've had the receivers of the century. We had Marvin, Reggie, T.Y. I mean, we got lucky with them, and then we got lucky with Peyton for, I mean, over 12 years we had him.
And to me, there's guys like Brandon Stokely, Austin Collie, who have absolutely overachieved their position based on
Collie. When I think about Collie, all I think about is concussions.
Yeah, but he overachieved just like maybe even a Dallas Clark. Those guys overachieved because they had someone like Peyton,
and that's why that they kind of have that correlation to Brady, because Brady always made receivers look a hell of a lot better than they actually were.
Yeah, there's outside of Gronk,
right?
And Randy Moss.
But Randy Moss, he was already a dude.
He was an established.
He was
player.
already a guy, and he got traded there.
But outside of those two guys, name a wide receiver from the New England Patriots in the last 15 years that's going to go into the Hall of Fame.
Right. Yeah.
You can't. Those quarterbacks make those players better.
I would say Aaron Hernandez, but he's dead. Oh, god damn.
We're not going to go into that bottle of water right now. We'll talk about that next time.
But anyways, no, you're right, though, because he always had just Wes Welker. Wow, do you think Welker's going to be in the Hall of Fame? Edelman. I think Edelman will be in the Hall of Fame.
He might get there, but it's going to take a while. Wes Welker,
I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's first ballot, but I think Edelman will be there at some point.
He could, and it might take. You
don't think Wes Welker will be there?
No, I don't. I don't think Wes Welker. I liked the guy. I thought he played the game the right way, and he was tougher than hell.
He was,
but I don't think that he's going to end up in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate, but
which sucks. I mean, because he was such a hard-nosed guy.
He played the game the right way. Just like Julian Edelman. I mean, I hate the Patriots, but that dude played the game the right way.
I mean, we all hate. I mean, most of the people that probably listen to this podcast hate the Patriots, but you got to respect their fucking play, man. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, the way, because like we were talking to what was the we were talking to Bowen about that, about the Patriots being, I thought. Or was it? God, I can't remember.
It was Derek.
I can't remember who it was. Was it Derek Schultz?
I think
We're talking about the Patriots being, or Tom Brady being just a product. Oh yeah, it was Derek Schultz. Sorry. Yeah. Then we're talking about Tom Brady being a product of Bill Belichick, but then he goes out, wins the Super Bowl with Tampa Bay, and that year the Patriots don't even fucking make the playoffs. So,
I'm sorry, Tom. No, I don't mean to cut you off, but Tom Brady he's a product of Tom Brady. Tom Brady is Tom Brady in the story. He's not a product of Belichick. He's not a product of New England. Tom Brady is a product of Tom Brady.
He's one of those guys that I don't mean to suck his dick right now, really seriously, because I hate him as a player. As a person, he's great. I mean, he's a good guy. Peyton even had him in his Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's a great guy as a person, but nobody wants to get beat by him every year.
No, hell no, man. We had so many miserable years because of him. But he's that guy that he just knows what he's doing, and he's going to execute it. And he doesn't give a fuck what anyone says about it.
No. And he makes his players around him better.
And the funny thing was, Drew Bledsoe had that starting job in New England when he came along.
Yeah.
And he said, Bledsoe got hurt. He said, fuck this, I'm taking it over. And then they win the Super Bowl the next year.
Yeah.
But
it just proves that even backups can be Hall of Famers.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, so I want to rewind this to go back to the Colts and their running back depth chart. What do you think of? So obviously Taylor's got the starting spot. We got Hines. We got Mack.
Jordan Wilkins.
We got Jordan Wilkins. Where do you see all them? Because we all know Taylor's got the starting job. Where do you see all them falling?
I mean, outside of Taylor, you look at Mack, and you kind of see a guy that was a really solid running back. Injuries have kind of taken a toll on him, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, is he going to be a great, spell back for Jonathan Taylor? I think so. I see Nyheim Hines. I know he hates the word gadget,
but that's what he is.
But he is. I mean, he's
just
fast.
what he is.
He's an elusive, fast back. He's a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run any kind of bootleg plays. He's very, very good at cutting the ball and getting upfield. Yeah. Jordan Wilkins, to me, is kind of the odd man out, unfortunately. And I think that kid has a lot of skill set that would make him a really good running back in the NFL.
But do you think Mack is going to have that release that he had before he got the injury?
No.
Because I don't think he's going to have that.
I think over time, Nyheim Hines is going to take over the number 2 back role, unfortunately.
I wouldn't say unfortunately, though. I mean,
to me it is, because I've always appreciated the effort and the gutsiness of Marlon Mack.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that, but do you think I just because of the injury, he doesn't have that burst that he had.
Mm-mm. According
to guys that I know that have been to camp, he doesn't have the burst that he had prior to that injury last year.
When it comes to NFL running backs, that first step speed, it's just like a point guard. That first step speed is so important.
Yeah.
And being able to cut hard and go back opposite direction is something that's very important. He's lost that a little bit.
Right, exactly. So I love Jordan Wilkins as the third option, but
so do you see? Marlon Mack as the odd man out?
Well, that's the thing. I loved Wilkins as the third option last year, but now we've got 4 running backs. Who the hell do you put on the bench or the practice squad? Because that was the guy last year who would get you that first down or whatever, get you whatever you needed, and he always came through.
Yeah, Jordan Wilkins was that hard-nosed guy.
So it's like, what the hell do you do?
It's a good problem to have when you got 4 running backs that could potentially start on a lot of teams in the NFL.
Yeah. And then that goes back to the wide receiver depth chart.
Sure.
What are we going to do with? We've got. The funny thing is, before the season, everyone was thinking, "God, we have such a weak wide receiver core," and now going through camp, it's like, "Holy shit, who do we cut?"
Yeah.
Because you've got Pittman. You've got Paris Campbell, who's back and looking healthy as hell now. You've obviously got T.Y. You got Pascal. And then you've got this boy Strawn, who has literally just come up and
burst on the
surprised everybody by his... he's got the size, he's got the speed. It's like, we need that big fucking guy.
Do they just use him in red zone packages? Do they keep him and use him in red zones?
Almost like a tight end package, though, which I don't like because
he's almost built like a damn tight end.
Well, but he's got the speed, though, man.
He's got the speed of a wide receiver. I agree.
But that's what I don't like about it. I don't want them to use him like that. I don't want him to be the 5th receiver. I want him to be.
So does Pascal fall out of that top 4?
Yes,
I can't argue.
That's what I would say. I would say put Strawn in that 4 receiver package because Pascal's. He's fine. He's fine, but he's not. You can tell Strawn's going to be a playmaker, and then maybe not this year, but in the next few years, he's going to be that dude that's going to be double teamed. Mm-hmm. We haven't had a big, solid receiver like that in a long time.
No.
I don't. You can call when Andre Johnson came here.
But
as a big receiver, but that was a bust.
That was a twilight career.
Yeah, that was a total bust.
For him. It's going to be incredible to see how he progresses, and maybe he ends up in that maybe he falls into that number 3 spot. Maybe he pushes a T.Y. out, or maybe he pushes a Paris Campbell out. Just because of his sheer size and his athletic ability.
Well, so we all know that Paris Campbell's probably going to be injured by week 3. I don't know. That was
screwed that poor man right there.
I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't.
No, because he looks incredible in camp right now.
I do not want that because I love Paris Campbell. He has that speed that we need. He's got the talent. I mean, he's a great receiver, but man, that motherfucker cannot stay healthy.
Maybe this is the year he does.
I hope he does.
And if he does, again, like with our running backs, it puts us at a wealth of riches.
I hope he does. I mean, that's why I'm praying that finally we get to see what Paris Campbell is all about. Because Pittman started coming out last year. What do you see Pittman doing this year? Because
I honestly,
he kind of had his coming out party last year a little bit. I don't think he's fully shown what he can do. What do you him as a wide receiver 1? Are you cool with that?
If he continues to progress in the manner that he did last year, I think by the end of the season he's a Pro Bowl wide receiver.
Really?
I see him progressing that much.
That's a hot take.
He progressed so fast last year, from really he was number 2-ish based on injury to really he was the number 1 option in the wide receiving core late in the season last year.
He really was. I mean, because T.Y. was
he did what his nickname says. He ghosted the fucking team.
Exactly. Well, exactly. That's what I was about to say. T.Y. was a ghost out there.
Yeah, he just
he was nowhere to be found. For the most part,
he didn't do anything to benefit the wide receiving core other than maybe take the number 1 DB.
He might have been a decoy. I mean, and maybe that's why Pittman had a I wouldn't say great year, but he had a decent year.
He had a really solid
especially
rookie
for a
season.
rookie. Yeah, so I mean, we'll see what happens, but I see these new guys coming up. I'm like, God, we're looking really solid.
Yeah, we've got a lot of ways to go.
And there's some tough decisions for Reich to make.
Oh, I wouldn't want to be in him or Chris Ballard's shoes right now.
No.
Because there's so much talent right now that is being underutilized because they have the loyalties to other people.
Can we just find a left tackle? That's all I want.
Jesus.
I just want a goddamn left tackle.
Well, from what I'm hearing, Eric Fisher's coming back, and he's making a lot of movements, and he's looking really good.
That's what I've heard, too.
And it's not really good based upon coming back from injury. It's really good based upon what he was 3 or 4 years ago.
Right.
As a Pro Bowler,
and that's
All-Pro.
And that's
what we need.
That's what we're paying him for.
Sure.
I mean, that's why we have him. But I can't have that Will. What's his name? Will Holden. Is that his name?
Jesus, yeah.
No. Like last weekend he got tore up.
Well, it just goes to show the difference in the elite level abilities from a guy like Anthony Costanzo down to an Eric Fisher to our 3rd level guy, our 4th level guy.
Yeah.
We haven't played anybody yet, and we're still getting torched on the left side.
Yeah.
Granted, I know that Quentin Nelson's coming back. He's probably going to be back for the first game of the season, just because that dude is an absolute animal, and there's nothing going to keep him off the field. I don't think.
Yeah.
He's just that guy that will not stop. He's not going to. He's just an absolute beast of a human being.
Yeah.
I would not want to have to play against him.
Well, I will say that I think it was Strawn made J.C. Horn,
who was a number 8 overall pick,
like a joke.
And if you
looked like a joke last weekend.
And I personally will say, and I'll take all undue credit for this. I said prior J.C. Horn was going to be the defensive rookie of the year, and Michael Strawn made him look like a bum.
He did, and that's what
that's a scary thought. And because J.C. Horn coming out of college was supposed to be like the DB coming out of college.
Yeah, I mean he made him look like a 4th stringer.
Yeah, he made him look.
And that's why I don't want him at the 5th on the depth chart.
No.
Because taking it, I mean, obviously you can go against the 4th, 5th stringers and look like a fucking champ. We've seen that. That's where the Jordan Wilkins discussion came up.
But J.C. Horn is going to be a starter for Carolina.
That's my point, is J.C. Horn is going to get paid. He's going to be one of those lockdown corners.
I think he's going to be a hell of a corner
in the league. But Strawn made him look like a fucking joke.
Yeah. But that just goes to show the skill set that man has.
That's what I'm saying. Strawn made him look like some bum off the fucking street. He tore him up.
How old is Strawn? 20, 21, 22-ish?
Yeah, I mean...
That's a grown-ass man.
Yeah.
We go back to his size. That you can't teach that. You can't teach that catch radius. And he's proven to have really good hands for a guy that size.
No, he totally has. That's the thing, because usually the big guys, they're
jump ball guys.
They're big, and they're red zone guys. That's really what I was getting at. Is they're jump ball guys, because this guy has the strength, the arm length, the height, everything that you want in a big receiver. Almost like I said earlier, Calvin Johnson-esque.
He has the same physical size as Calvin.
Right, I'm not going to call him.
You can't compare him to him, because who knows what's going to happen. Calvin obviously is a Hall of Famer. Congratulations on that, Calvin. But he has the same physical tools. Now, can he put them on display on the field when it counts?
I mean, he's 6'5", 225.
That's a Calvin Johnson.
That's a big,
that's receiver. A huge guy,
especially for us or the Colts. I want to say, because we've always had the small 5'10", 180 pounders.
That burn you with speed and
Harrison, Wayne, Ty. They all fit in the same category.
And those guys were good because they ran excellent routes. They had a great quarterback. They had the best hands in the league, in my opinion. Yeah. Maybe I'm a homer for it, but they did. I mean, those guys never dropped passes.
We're not a homer for it, because Harrison, obviously in the Hall of Fame.
Reggie's going to be there in a few years.
T.Y.'s...
He's on the outside looking in right now.
He's on that cusp, man.
He's on the outside
looking in. He's on that cusp. Dude, because we're like, well, he's in the Hall of Fame. He's going to be... maybe... but I love T.Y. I mean, obviously, he's
a fan favorite.
Yeah,
he'll always be a fan favorite.
We all love T.Y. Don't get me wrong, but he could be on that. It's not going to be a first ballot. He could, maybe third or fourth. I don't know, but he's been one of those guys for us that's always been that safety valve.
It's stability. He's been very, very stable,
and that's what you want, and that's kind of what we're looking at in this receiving core, this very, very young receiving core that we've got right now.
It's sad when T.Y.'s 31, and he's the old guy.
But no, it's not. That's a good thing.
It's a great thing.
I think it's great.
If we can develop these guys like Strawn and Pascal,
Pittman and all
Pittman,
exactly, and Paris Campbell,
correct.
I think we could have a very dangerous receiving core for the next few years. The only thing is, what the hell? We'll go back to it right now. What's going to happen with our quarterback issue? Because is Wentz really going to be that guy? Do you see him being that dude? I mean, back in 2017,
sure, anybody would.
Fuck yeah, he was. But he was, and he was also with Reich. But they also had a great offensive line. Our left tackle position right now is obviously everyone knows.
It's in the air.
That our left tackle's hurting. I mean, we don't have left tackle. You might as well not even have anyone there right now.
Sure.
You might as well have fucking 3 guys on the line, because our left tackle is nowhere to be found.
Then
is he going to be like Luck and get the shit kicked out of him, and in 2 years be like, I can't do this anymore, I'm out?
I hope not. Carson has the ability to be a Hall of Fame quarterback in my eyes.
Really?
It's his head.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because he has all the physical tools to do that. He has the ability to get out of the pocket. He's got mobility. He's got the arm strength. He's got the knowledge. The only thing that he lacks is the mental fortitude.
He's very soft mentally.
Mentally, he just doesn't have it yet.
But
maybe there's a reason for it.
I would ask you though, I wouldn't say that Wentz, because you just called Wentz a future Hall of Famer.
I said he has the potential to be.
Is Wentz better than Luck? Fuck
no, not even a little bit. But Luck, we would. You know, the shitty part is
Luck also had his issues too.
He had the injury situation. He got the shit kicked out of him because we had a terrible offensive line. But if we had all of our starters on the offensive line and you put Luck behind him, Luck probably runs away with the MVP. He'll have time to dissect every defense. He's one of the smartest quarterbacks the Colts have ever had.
Oh, he's the smartest.
I would agree with
he
that.
shouldn't even be an NFL player. He should be like an author or something.
Yeah, he's just that highly intelligent human.
Yeah.
And he when he was playing, he cared, and he was a student of the game, just like Peyton. And he made himself better by putting the time in the work.
I want to know why they strengthened the fucking O-line after Luck leaves. Like, that makes no goddamn sense. Like,
because we were fucked until he did
we
that.
beat the shit out of this quarterback, and he left because it's like, didn't they see that for the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years, whatever?
Yeah. He was the most sacked quarterback outside of who, Cam Newton, maybe.
He got the shit beat out of him.
Yeah.
You can't blame him for that. Because when he had...
I don't blame him a bit. He made $100 million.
When he had open looks, he was on it. I mean,
he was as good as anybody in the league.
He was a great quarterback. Played a shit offensive line. And then as soon as he leaves, they're like, oh, maybe we need to strengthen that O-line. I mean, that last quarterback just got the shit beat out of him. Has to get all new fucking body parts because they've rearranged all of them. It's like, why didn't you see this 3, 4, 5 years ago?
Do you think it is upper management and GM and coach situation?
I don't think it's upper management. I think Ursay will do anything to win. I don't think it's him.
No, I don't think it's... I'm talking coach to GM.
Well, the coach we had at the time was horrible. So, yes, I think that's partly coach. I mean, we all know that... I mean, sorry, but... we all know how bad he was. I'm not going to mention his name. We all know how bad he was.
Yeah.
He was not a good... He's a great defensive... Or what is he? He was with the Bears now, right?
He's a great defensive
He's a great defensive coach.
He's not a head coach. He's a great defensive mind, though.
He's not a head coach. We all love the Chuck Strong. Let's fucking, get behind him. He's a shit head coach. I mean, I'm sorry, but he is.
And I like the guy.
He's a fucking nice guy, man.
He's as personable and great. You can't wish nothing.
You don't want to not like him.
No, even if you want to not like him, you can't.
Right.
Even if you want to hate that man, you can't. He's just that good of a person. He's just not built to be a head coach.
He's not a head coach. He's a great coordinator. Defensive up. He's a great defensive coordinator. He's not head coach material. And I don't think Caldwell was head coach material either.
No, another great defensive mind.
Exactly,
but not an offensive.
They're not head coaches, man. No. That's why I'm not totally sold on Reich yet. He's
a great offensive.
I'm like 60% there because he takes chances,
and I like that.
But the thing was, Chuck never took chances.
No,
he was always played it safe.
Chuck lost games for the Indianapolis Colts because he wasn't willing to take that chance.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
He was so concerned about his job that he didn't take those chances. He played it too safe.
Right. Yeah.
Where Frank is gonna take those chances.
Yeah.
In reality, he doesn't give a shit. I don't think I don't mean it in a negative.
I wouldn't say he doesn't give a shit. I would say that.
But he wants to win. He's more apt to winning.
He's driven
than worried about losing.
Yeah. Exactly.
He wants to win more than he's concerned about losing.
Yeah. Right.
So he's going to take those chances, and I love that about him.
That's what I like too, man. Like, go for it on fourth down. Fuck it, who cares?
Yeah. What's the worst? You put a little pressure on defense. Good. Put a little pressure on that high-paid defense.
4th and 2. Who cares?
Yeah. Put some pressure on.
I love that shit, man.
Yeah. Stop being scared.
It would be 4th and 2 inches, and fucking Pagano would punt it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why? Go for it, man. Try. See what happens.
Give your offense. Show some faith in your offense.
You have no trust. That means you have no trust in your offense.
Exactly. Have faith and trust in your offense. You're going to be fine.
You have no trust in your offense. That brings down obviously their morale because they're like, well, this fucking guy doesn't trust us. So
Yeah.
like I said, nothing against Pagano. He's a fucking nice guy, but I mean,
and a defensive guru.
But he just did not take those fucking chances that we all wanted to see. But now we're like every fourth and I think probably less than 4, we all know Ragg's going for it, which is hilarious.
And I love it.
Oh yeah, totally. So going back to Rag, do you think the contract extension was justified? Because I mean, 5 years, that's a lot. That's a long time to have a head coach that hasn't really proved anything yet.
It is a long time, but in today's NFL, you gotta lock up somebody you believe in, because if you don't, somebody's gonna come get him.
Yeah, I'm like, man, I don't, he did his thing in Philly. Obviously, we all know they won the Super Bowl, but he hasn't done anything here yet. We've gone to the playoffs. Fucking, just it's not. It hasn't been an exciting team yet, but that's what I'm looking forward to this year.
I think we're putting the pieces together to have an exciting league or exciting team this year. So excuse me. It's one of those. An extra game is there. Is it going to make a difference?
The extra game kind of scares me, honestly. Like,
I'm excited about it. I think it. Look at last year. It was a game. It was a game difference. It was a game that we could have probably used if we won.
I mean, honestly, I love having the extra week in the NFL just because I love watching football. But for the Colts, having an extra game 11-5 barely got us. We got in by the skin of the teeth last year.
Yeah.
I mean, because the AFC is honestly the stronger conference now.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. There's so much talent in the AFC right now.
You look at the NFC, you can get in with a fucking 7-10 record now.
Yeah.
So I mean, the AFC scares the shit out of me, and our division scares me.
I think we have one of the toughest divisions in the NFL right now.
We're
definitely top 2.
That's the funny thing, because remember, like, for so many years, the AFC South was the laughing stock of the NFL. AFC South, you guys are terrible. Whoever has a 9-7 record is going to be in the playoffs. And now it's gotten so strong that you're like, shit, man. I see. I don't want to say, but I see the Titans taking the South.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a dogfight to the end.
Sure.
I hope it is.
And I think it's truly a 2-team race. It's between the Colts and the Titans. But I think the Jacksonville Jaguars have the talent to really give people fits.
You don't see that's why I'm
Houston's so much of a shit show right now.
Houston's a fucking dumpster fire.
There's if they win 5 games, I'll be impressed. And that's not because of Deshaun Watson, because he's an incredible quarterback. Is he even going to be on the field this year?
No, he's not. No, and he's not going to be. That's the thing. Like I see, I see us, the Titans. I mean, people are sleeping on the Jags, man. I would not.
There's a lot of talent on that team.
I would not sleep on the Jags this year.
No, they're going to give people fits.
They may go. Look. They may go 7-10. Who the hell knows? But I would not. But I wouldn't be surprised if they went
10-7.
I wouldn't be surprised if they went 10-7. That's just because they always give us fits.
Sure.
Obviously, last year, our first game of the fucking season, we lose to them. That fucked up our whole year, by the way.
It screwed the whole season up.
That screwed us up big time. So I don't sleep on them at all. I think it's going to be the Titans and then us very close to them. I guess we'll see. I don't know. But it's going to be a tough race. I think it's going to be exciting. This year's NFL is going to be very interesting. And if you're not an NFL fan, you need to watch, because I think this year is going to be really, really good.
Oh, it's going to be a blast. I can't wait to get started. The only thing about the NFL season starting in the regular season is it means my fishing season is dwindling. Unfortunately, that's what that means.
Yeah. You had a good year this year.
I've had an incredible year fishing this year. Yeah. I've done a lot of cool things. But you know what? I like the NFL.
I do too.
I love to wake up in the morning and get started cooking and get a great spread of food going.
Oh man,
and kick back and watch
I'll tell you
NFL
what,
games all day.
Kim makes the best fucking NFL. You wouldn't know. Kim is a huge NFL fan. On Sundays, she gets up early, she'll start the crock pot going, make some meatballs or some nacho, some kind of dip or something, and get some sliders going. She hooks it up. But,
Sounds like the NFL season is going to be pretty good for us being neighbors.
I think
we're going to have a lot of fun. 'Cause Brooke does the same thing. She loves cooking on NFL Sundays. Yeah, man.
I mean,
it's going to be fun.
You know, I mean, we've got till October 14th, so
I'm
moving out. I'm moving, so we're gonna have to figure out another way to do this podcast. We can do Skype.
We'll do it. We'll do it no matter what.
It'll be all good. But honestly, I kind of want to get away from. I mean, we talk football so fucking much, man. Why don't we talk about what's going on in the world right now?
Okay, I'm in.
I mean,
I will gladly talk about this.
All we talk about is sports, and it's like, why don't we branch out and talk about a little more? So obviously, everyone knows about the situation in Afghanistan right now. Chad, what are your thoughts on what's happening right now? What should we have done? What do we need to do? Give me some insight. For
me, and I've tried to follow it closely. Obviously, life gets in the way. But what I've seen is the U.S. government has kind of dropped the ball in what's going on over there. We've spent trillions of dollars, countless lives. All these people over
20
there.
20 years, man.
We've been dealing with this for that long, and everybody has kept it very copacetic. They've kept it together, and then we've got this guy coming into office, and I'm not going to say no names because I don't want people to hate me for it.
Well, you don't like Trump or Biden, so it doesn't matter.
I like ideology of both at times, but where I stand with it is Biden dropped the ball. I mean, I'm just going to call it what it is. He dropped the ball. He allowed this terrorist group to come in and take over an entire country. How do you do that when we've spent trillions of dollars? You've let people in our military die in vain. To not send someone over there to help keep these people from taking over this country? And now these people are sitting in our U.S. embassy sending out videos of them dancing to Drake songs and lifting weights on U.S. military dime. How in the hell can our government be okay with that?
Yeah, it's a really tough subject for me to talk about because, I mean...
It fires me up a little bit.
Obviously, we want people to be safe. Afghanistani refugees, I'm okay, I'm okay with them coming here if they have a safe place to stay. I feel like you might be on the opposite end of the spectrum as me, but what's going on in Afghanistan right now is terrible, and we have at least one, maybe two presidents to blame, maybe three. Maybe four. It's been going on since Bush was in office.
There's too many. You can't point the finger at just our presidents.
And that's the thing. Like,
and that's the shitty part.
Everyone says, "Well, this is Trump's fault. This is Biden's fault. This is Obama. This is Bush." But it's been going for 20 fucking years. I mean, I feel like at first they were trying to do a good thing.
You know whose fault it is? The entire U.S. government. It's not a president's fault.
No, it's not. No.
Because he's got his constituents, he's got his cabinet, he's got all these people in his ear telling him this shit. And yet he has to make the final decision, so guess who it falls on? It falls on that person. It's not Biden, it's not Trump, it's not Obama, it's not Bush, it's not this, it's the entire U.S. government that's at fault.
Well, the government
can't blame it on anybody.
The government's shitty anyways, we all know that. I mean, it's such a shitty situation.
It's a disaster right now.
That, like, we went into there, that most of us, maybe people that weren't in the know, we thought this was a good thing.
Sure.
Let's go. Because, I mean, you think about 9/11. Think about how that tore at your... I mean, you see the planes hit the building.
Oh, it puts you in your feels.
That tore your fucking heart. You're like, we need to get these motherfuckers. We need to do, and then that next day you saw them all jumping in the streets, like, yay, all right. It's like, oh my god, we need to kill all these motherfuckers. But then you take a step back and you're like, okay, maybe we need to chill out.
But there is a sense of innocence over there too of people that don't want that for the U.S.
Right.
They don't consider us infidels. They don't consider us an enemy.
Right, yeah.
And that's the hard part about it. You can't just send in troops and bombs and just blow all kinds of shit up.
And that's why there's so many people on these planes coming back to America, not coming back, but coming to America as refugees, saying we don't want to be in this. We don't. This is horrible. We don't want to live under Taliban rule, and it's just it's horrible. I mean, could you imagine us living in the U.S. being under that kind of rule? I mean, like
it would be god awful. But at the same time, we have sent so much to that country, whether it's the lives of our troops that we've lost, whether it's finances.
How much money?
Trillions. It's over trillions of dollars that we've sent to this company to help, whether it be through our military, through our armed forces, through federal aid that we've sent over there to help rebuild. I know people in my local as electricians that have been over there to help rewire these buildings and these homes and these places to get them back in order.
Sure.
And it's all been done in vain.
Yeah.
Because we've allowed this faction of people to take over what we built, and now it's going to go to shit again.
And that's the shitty thing I know it wasn't about oil because everyone says it's about oil. Afghanistan actually has no oil.
Iran was about oil.
That's a big misconception. Afghanistan actually has no oil. So Bush should not go over there to get their oil from them. That's actually a huge misconception. I'm not left or right either. I don't really sway either way. That's actually a huge misconception. We went over there to actually try to make their lives better.
Sure.
And all it did was strengthen the Taliban because we gave them money, we poured money into their economy, thinking we were trying to do the right thing. At the time, and who the fuck knows? I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they had an ulterior motive. I don't know.
But it goes to show. It goes to show in life. Sometimes doing the right thing isn't always doing the right thing.
Right.
And it's very unfortunate because that's the world we live in right now.
Yeah, and it's really shitty too, man.
It's a terrible thought.
I've always thought that you do good on somebody else, they'll reciprocate, and that's not always the case.
No, not in the world we live in.
Which is really, it's really disheartening for a young person or an idealist that says, hey, if we help you out, you help us out, it'll all be good. No, that's not the real world we live in. You give, they'll take. You give more, they'll take more, take more. And it's like, what the fuck are we doing? Because, this is a huge fuck up on both sides of the aisle, honestly.
It's not just one or the other. It's the entire government.
No, it's not Biden, Trump, it's not anybody. It's the government
It's
a government fuck up that got us to this point, and the thing is, they still don't want to admit it.
No, the only thing that upsets me, and this is clearly hearsay, this is what I read and see and listen. Biden knew the insurgents were coming. He knew what had been taken over in Afghanistan, and he stood steadfast, thinking that Kabul wouldn't be taken over. Why would you not? They took over some of the major cities in Afghanistan. Why wouldn't they have taken over Kabul too?
There was a press conference they had where they asked him about it, and he said, no, they're not going to do that.
Exactly.
But also, Trump back in 2013 or 2012, I think, he also made a bunch of tweets saying, we need to get out of Afghanistan, before he was president, we need to get out. But he didn't do that while he was president. So
he pulled the majority. I will give him that. He pulled the majority. Did he pull all of them like he said we should? No, he didn't. Which is something that he has to live with.
Right.
And us as a country have to live with.
So, neither one of them are totally... They're both at fault, I should say. Mm-hmm. Which really sucks because, we could have been out 10 fucking years ago. As soon as Obama was murdered, we should have gotten the fuck out of there.
Bin Laden, not Obama.
What did I say? Sorry. Oh, my God.
I
fucking
Sorry. To all you listeners, we're going to be getting investigated by the CIA, FBI, and CBE
I did not mean Obama.
2012.
I meant Osama Obama. There's a slight difference there. I'm like 7 beers deep tonight. So I meant Osama bin Laden, not Barack Obama. He was a fine president, whatever. It's fine. So I meant 10 years ago, 10 years ago, when Osama was assassinated, that's when we should have pulled out.
Absolutely.
Because I don't feel like anything would have happened after he got. This is just me talking because I don't fucking know. I was never in the military. I don't know what would.
You know what? Here's a good idea. If any of our listeners are pre-military, post-military, military active right now, let us know. We would love to have you on. We would love to have a conversation with you about what your thoughts are. Sure. We know that there's not a lot of things you can talk about at times, and we would never press that, but we would love to hear opinions from people.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're just a couple guys that give our opinions. We don't fucking know. Like, we just talk about what these are our opinions. This is coming from our heart. We don't fucking know. We've never been in Kabul. We've never been in Fallujah. We've never been in the fucking battlefields. We don't know.
No, I have a lot of amazing family members that have been,
and so do I. Exactly.
And man, I would love to have any of them on. Wouldn't you? I mean, it'd be great to hear from these people. It'd be great to
hear from them. I mean, I've got some friends, family members, whatever, that probably come on here and talk to us about it. I mean, they might not be able to say everything.
Sure.
But it'd be good to get some insights from, when you're actually there. What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
So, we'll see if we can get anyone to come on here and talk to us about that, because I think it'd be a great topic to talk about, because we talk about sports so much, and it's like I'd love to get out of that realm occasionally.
Absolutely.
We can only talk about the Colts so much. We don't want to talk about the NFL so much. So I'd love to talk about other topics, and if you guys want to talk about, if you guys are, like you said, post-military, pre-military, whatever, if you guys want to talk about it, hit us up at _MichaelGG on Twitter, and you are at FishermanChad32.
Yep, I'm at FishermanChad32.
All right, so either hit us up there, hit us up on YouTube, whatever you want, man. And if you want to talk to us about your experience in the military, or if you're going into the military, talk to us about it. And I think it'd be a great conversation.
Yeah, I'd love it. I appreciate everybody that listens to this. We're just out here, a couple of guys, like Mike said. We're just out here, a couple of guys, giving opinion on things. We're not
experts.
Professionals. We're not experts. We're just enjoying being able to conversate with ourselves, or with guys like Tony Donahue, Derek Schultz, JMV, Kevin Bowen. These guys are all great, and they've given us time, on a platform that we can reach out to people, and now let's reach out to a different demographic, reaching out to the military demographic, the outdoors demographic. Yeah. I would love to continue to expand on this.
We don't need all of our guests don't need to be quote unquote celebrities, or whatever you want to call it, radio guys, whatever. We'll talk to normal guys. I'm totally. That's totally fine with me. We can do whatever. So, if you want to talk to us, shout us out on Twitter or on Facebook, and we'll get back to you. And we can. Our schedule is fairly open.
Sure.
So if you guys want to talk to us, let us know, and we'll totally have a conversation with you on air, because there's a lot of things that we don't know that you could probably give us insights on.
Would love to be enlightened on a lot of things. Right?
Yeah.
Especially in the world. Not sports, we keep pretty good tabs on.
Yeah,
we just in the world in general would be great.
We know sports fairly well. We have sports guys on just because we like going back and forth with them. But, guys that are out there that are actually doing the work for the country, shit, you're more than welcome to come on anytime you want.
And hats off to every one of you. We pray for y'all every night.
Absolutely. All right, this is Stay Tuned with Mikey and Chad. We've got some great guests coming up.
Yeah.
We've got MLB players. We've got other radio guys. We've got some stuff coming up. So like and subscribe. Like I said, at _MichaelGG on Twitter and at FishermanShad32 on Twitter. And we'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks, guys. Stay tuned.